everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we're talking about that Game of Thrones episode, because finally, funny story about this season. So this season of Game of Thrones, I've kind of just been a little critical of. The first two episodes to me were way too slow. I was able to forgive the first episode because I thought, okay, we're getting all the reunions, it's all good. And then the second episode happened, and it was literally just a giant tease fest. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not okay with this because we've been waiting 2 years for this. You've had all this time to get all this stuff kind of nice and, nice and polished, nice and everything connecting together. And no, instead it was just another waste of time. And so my wife was like, oh, it's okay though. It's a slow burn. And I like the slow burn. I'm like, hey, I like the slow burn too. The difference is that we've already been having these slow burns for the past several years. And now there's no longer time to have and waste. When you have 6 episodes in a season, it's impossible now to get to the point where you're just going to be wasting time on stuff that could have easily been put into one episode. They could have made one episode an hour and a half, and they could have had all the information, all the major character points from those first 2 episodes in it, and could have saved the other episode for actually giving us a good episode 3, which was then the Long Night, which ended up being a very short night, seeing that it did not take very long for them to destroy and defeat the Night King, and somehow, someway, all of their armies were destroyed, or for the vast majority of them were destroyed. All the main characters were surrounded by these, zombie creatures, somehow survived, which still doesn't make any sense. But also, you had the entire Dothraki seemingly get destroyed because we didn't see any other Dothraki other than the few stragglers that came back, and yet somehow there were over 1,000 of them in this most recent episode. So you've had all these things interconnecting that just don't make any sense. But in that episode, that was when I finally started to really sour, because when it comes to slower episodes of episodes 1 and 2 of this season, I said to myself, you know what? Okay, fine. It is what it is. Hopefully, they'll just start to make things crazy. Everything will be awesome. They'll end the show on a high note, and that's what my wife has been holding on to. My wife was holding on to that hope that we would eventually get to that point. Then the Long Night happened. She says, "Oh, you know what though? I couldn't see most of it because it was very dark. But you know what? I think they did it on purpose, and I think that it served a purpose, and it's okay." Basically, just trying to justify these objective issues, and she was just trying to justify them because subjectively, just like she loves the show. She loves the show. She loves the characters. We've been watching. I introduced this show to her, so a lot of it was us. Looking back on our relationship, looking back on just how our relationship really started, a lot of it was us catching her up with Game of Thrones, and so it became a huge thing for us when we were finally able to catch up. I want to say it was 1 or 2 seasons ago we were finally able to watch it live together, and so it's been a really cool part of a really cool aspect of our relationship. And so that's why for me I was like, okay, I don't want to crap all over you, but this was the first episode, again, episode 3 with the Long Night. It was the first time I was like, okay, this is really bad actually. Objectively, this is really bad. I mean, there's some objective moments in there that I really enjoyed. As I said, when Arya killed the Night King, I was like, oh, that's awesome. But then you think about it and you're like, wait a minute though, that doesn't make any sense. What about Jon Snow? Isn't the whole point of him being back that he has to fight the Night King, just at least fight him, not necessarily defeat him? But no, they just built that up over years and years, and it led to nothing. Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. And so you had all those things going on, and then episode 4 happens. And episode 4 is another slow burn, where almost nothing happens. Oh wait, that's right though. Instead, we actually get a dragon that gets killed somehow by a magic scorpion that can shoot around mountains, that can be reloaded in about 5 seconds, and also that they have pinpoint perfect accuracy. Awesome, great, fantastic. Glad that you've established that on a boat, shooting from thousands of feet away, you can somehow get a direct shot in the middle of the chest, get then a direct shot through the dragon's neck, all from a ship, all within the span of just a couple minutes. Okay, fine, whatever. No, of course I crapped all over that, and that was what I was like, okay, now it's just getting ridiculous. But then, you thought it was ridiculous then. Oh no. Then last night's episode happened. The episode that so many people have been waiting for. The one that everyone's been saying, you know what though? That last 2 episodes, they're going to deal with the fight for King's Landing, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. All of these character arcs are going to start to actually come to completion, and they're just going to blow our minds. And what do? They continued what they've done all season. Subvert, 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 subvert. And that's all they're doing. They're literally taking a page out of the Rian Johnson How to Tell a Story playbook, and it is having the same impact. Notice how when Rian Johnson did it with The Last Jedi, guess what happened? A huge portion of the audience said, screw you, dude. You've just taken everything that was being supported, everything that was, that was somewhat interesting about the new series, and you just crapped all over it because you said, oh, well, I just subverted your expectations, and so it's all about surprise now. No. Subverting expectations can be a good thing when it forwards the plot, when it actually means something. I'll give you a great example of this. One of the greatest subversion expectations, The Red Wedding. People who hadn't read the books, who were just watching the show, like I, had no idea what was going to happen. I figured maybe there would be some type of, foul play or someone would die. I didn't know that they would be killing off almost half of the major characters that they had established at that point. So color me surprised by that. I had no idea what was happening. But guess what? It all made sense. All the characters that were involved in the killing, it fit their characters. Everything that happened post Red Wedding all made sense because, again, it fit into the characters. And they were able to take it, and that one Red Wedding, that one event was able to basically determine and move the character arcs for so many other characters. And so basically it just was able to build and build and build other characters, even though there were other character arcs that finally got destroyed and got ended. And some of you might say, yeah, but you know what? People were very excited about Renly. People were very excited about all these other characters. The difference is that the actions that they did led to those events, and all of those events make perfect sense. Like they all work together. They all work together, and all the aftermath makes sense. The reason why episode 5 and almost every single episode this season does not work is because it's all about subversion. It has nothing to do with, oh, let's surprise people, but we're going to do it in a way that is consistent with all of the characters and all the arcs that have been built up so far. No, we have not gotten that at all. You know, Tyrion Lannister is now the dumbest person in the world. I thought he was supposed to be the smartest. You know, for four straight seasons, he was the smartest guy in the room. He understood bad people. He's lived with awful, evil people. And yet he somehow, some way can't see that she's turning to the dark side. He betrays his friend Varys and betrays him, and then he is the one that's executed. And then 5 minutes later, he betrays his queen to free his brother. Okay, that makes sense. You know, that's lucid. Okay, great. Fine. Tyrion's character destroyed. Fantastic. And then you have Daenerys, who's been one of the coolest characters, one of the coolest developments we've seen. Again, going from that very timid girl to being now the mother of dragons, to being the breaker of change, to being all of these awesome things. And now, obviously, one of the ways that they could have taken it was for her to go mad, since it was lying in her family. But I don't think anyone was thought, okay, yeah, we're going to wait 5 minutes, and then she's just going to go mad. You know, because we're not going to have any major development. And everyone's going to try and make the excuse saying, she had to watch her dragon die. She had to watch all these really bad things happen. Her best friend got killed. Oh my gosh, did you say her best friend got killed? Do you even watch the show? Do you even understand? I'm sorry, but if you're going to try and tell me that all of those really bad things that happened are on par with other bad things that have happened to other people in the series, or even to her, let alone when she was it was almost being insinuated, and I think it may have actually happened in the books, raped by her brother, and at least sexually assaulted by her brother, and treated like a thing. I'm pretty sure that if it was gonna happen, it would have been then. Or possibly, if you were gonna have a break, don't you think it would have made more sense that it would have been when her husband Drago got killed, or when she lost her child? But no, she kept it pretty sane then, and she's been pretty consistent. Some people said, oh, but she's destroyed people before. She's never killed innocent people for no reason. She's never just said, oh yeah, you're a family and a child. Dracarys. No, that's never happened. So her character break makes no sense. Now, it could have made sense. They could have spent another episode. You know, they could have, instead of wasting the first 2 episodes and combining them together, they could have used an extra episode to really dive in to how she was going insane and how she was about to have her actual break. But no, they can't do that. No, instead, we're going to subvert your expectations. Everyone's going to think that, oh my gosh, she's going to be great. Why would she do, she would never do that. She would never do that without good reason. There's defenders out there. Seriously, there are so many people defending these arcs, saying, oh, well, you're just not happy because it didn't happen the way that you wanted. No, I'm not happy because the way that it happened doesn't make any damn sense. That's why. I'm mad because character arcs that have been taking years and hours of my life to develop have just been poof, out of existence. Don't care, don't matter anymore. Does not matter. Things that used to make sense no longer make sense. Things that, used to actually work very well. They used to be so meticulous to make sure every single shot was beautiful. Now they're leaving Starbucks cups and only editing them after the fact. Now they are just making things up as they go. Oh yeah, the Dothraki, there's like thousands of them left. And they say after the fact, oh, well, only about a third of, only 2/3 of the army was actually destroyed. About a third of them still exist. Okay, great. Show us that. Don't say, oh, we're going to surprise you, and then after the fact, when we're giving the rounds, then we'll say, oh, well, actually, you don't see it, but actually, these amounts of people are still alive, and actually, this is how it all works. No, shut up. It's just as stupid as you saying, oh, well, she kind of forgot that there was this Iron Fleet. She kind of forgot. Okay, great. Let's talk about that Iron Fleet. Let's talk about how they had 3 perfect shots on a flying dragon from the ocean, and then all of a sudden, one dragon, so that's when they had 2 dragons. who can see from afar, and they're pretty much insinuated that they can sense various things. And last time I checked, you can't shoot something across and somehow curve it around. This isn't wanted or anything. You can't curve the bullet. You can't curve the freaking, ballista or whatever it's called. No, you can't do that. That obviously doesn't make any sense. But not only do you have that, but now you have one dragon who's able to take out the entirety of the scorpions without even getting shot once. And not only that, but is able to take out the entire fleet, the entire Golden Company, pretty much every single thing. And, the whole siege took about, Gary timed it last night. He says the entire siege before she starts just destroying everything and burning it, even though she said, I don't want to be a ruler of ashes. Well, too late for that. Because, again, that would have made sense, but, we're all past tense. Of course we're past tense. She's crazy now. Great. Give me an actual development of her madness. Not just, 5 minutes later, I've gone crazy, even though there's been worse things that have happened to her in her life. I mean, let's just be honest here. There are so many other things that have, both in the book and not in the book, in the book and things that have been covered in the series that would have been a lot better of a reason to explain how she went mad the way that she did. What we got from this episode was, my nephew won't sleep with me? Oh my gosh, I'm going to go insane. It must be fear then. Keep in mind that was the logic. Oh, but you could have love, John says. And then they kiss. And then he backs up because he remembers, you're still my aunt. And this might be normal for you, but for me, it's not normal. And she says, well, then it must be fear then. Okay, great. So because your nephew won't sleep with you. Okay, because your nephew won't sleep with you, now that justifies all of your actions. Great, thank you. I'm glad that is your motivating factor. I'm glad that because your nephew won't sleep with you, that is why you're going to burn children alive. Oh my gosh, thank you. And that stupid excuse they gave at the end saying, she saw the Red Keep, and she was reminded of all the things that happened to her family. She's gotten over that. She has gotten over that nonsense. That is not, oh my gosh. Basically what it seems like they did was they decided to go back to season 1 and just say everything that happened in between doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't mean a damn thing. Here's the problem. When you have an audience that's been with you for 8 years, who's given countless hours of time to support you, and you give them crap that not only subverts expectations, but also doesn't make sense, that's why we're pissed. That's why so many people are pissed. That's why this is now the lowest rated episode, the lowest rated season. Look at this. Game of Thrones Season 8, 47% from audiences. Of course, critics are going to give it a high rating. Why wouldn't they? They're shills. They have to. Even this episode, 54% from critics. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that has no shilling at all. Lowest rated episode out of the entire Game of Thrones season. Notice how every single episode has gotten worse and worse and worse. And this episode, this season, is not going to age well at all. Who out there, honestly, please let me know in the comments, which of you out there is honestly going to buy Season 8 on Blu-ray? Anyone that's been collecting it? Other than people who are completionists, are you actually going to buy it? Are you actually going to want to watch the season again? I have no desire to even see the rest of the series anymore because now anytime I go back to Season 1 or Season 2, back when it was well-written, well-crafted, all the character arcs made sense, all of the subversion of expectations, all the surprises still made sense. The fact that you had the person that was supposed to be the lead character in the show, at least, getting his head chopped off at the end of the season, oh my gosh, that would have been the end for, had it not been well written. But no, it was well written. They were great characters. And he was just one of the many characters in this bigger overarching story. But instead, what you decided to do was you decided to take the two biggest plot devices are what? The Night King and the fight for the throne. And you decided to cram both of those things into one episode. Oh, it was an hour and a half. One episode. Seasons long, years long build up, and you decide to make both of them into just one episode each. You decide to crap all over it so that you can't see half of it in the Night King battle, and then subversion, even though none of it makes sense, even though logically it broke the entirety of the season. And then of course with this nonsense in the last episode. I mean, seriously guys, if you are still out there honestly defending the show, I have to ask you, what show are you watching at this point? If you subjectively like it, hey, no problems here at all. No problems at all. My wife was subjectively loving this show. And she would say, could you please stop talking about it? Could you please stop pointing these things out? Because even though she knew they were true, she wanted to be able to enjoy the show because subjectively speaking, she still liked it. The biggest problem though, and the funniest thing about it, is that last night, 10 minutes in, no longer than 10 minutes into the episode, I look at her and she says, I can't defend this anymore. Like seriously, she broke. She said, all right, this, and so literally for the rest of the episode, we were like, oh, come on. What? Are you kidding me? And then laughing. It was so funny. In fact, you know what? I loved last night's episode because it not only was hilarious in the worst way possible, but it really did just expose how Benioff and Weiss have no idea what they're doing. When they are left on their own, when they are the ones creating the story, creating the world, building the characters, they have no idea what they're doing. And I think this puts a big question mark next to their Star Wars series. Why would you want the people who are going to single-handedly, especially if the rumors, if the leaks of how the show is going to end, because they're out there, all the same leaks that were accurate in every season, every episode of this season so far, if they still remain true, which is very likely, seeing that it's had a pretty good track record, and the people that end up on the throne and all this other stuff that's going on behind the scenes, if all that pans out the way that it does, guess what, guys? It's not going to get any better. If you think it's bad now, it gets even worse. Seriously, it goes for full and utter subversion without explanation. Full and utter subversion without any sense, without any logic. And again, if you want to go that route, Rian Johnson can show you how to do that. He can show you how you break a fan base, because that's what he did. He subverted for subversion's sake, just like what they're doing here. Oh, we want to surprise you, and we're going to justify it in our own minds, even though all these thousands of, like, we have 1 point. We have 1 point that can justify all of the choices that we're making, even though there's 100 other points that contradict it. But it was all about surprising you. We didn't want you to be able to predict how the show is going to end. Or as Ryan says, your theory on Snoke is cute and everything. I'm going to crap all over your Snoke theory. No. What he did was he took characters, he took plot points, and just decided to subvert them, decided to go in the total opposite direction where no one else would see them going, and he did it all for the sake of surprise. Not because it built the show, not because it helped the show, not because it built the season, not because it helped the story. No. Instead, it was purely done to surprise. And what we have from this is we have 2 people here, D&D, again, Benioff and Weiss, Dumb and Dumber, as some are now calling them, who are now taking a show that has been great for years. Seriously, has been great for years. And many people, even though there's been people that have been critical of the last few seasons because of them writing it, people have been able to say, you know what, though, the writing might not be as good as the first 4 seasons, but I'm still enjoying it. Things still make sense. All the characters work. And they took that, and even those people that were still able to defend it somehow because subjectively they were loving it, even they are now breaking. The fact that on Gary's stream last night, he had over 12,000 people watching, mostly positive comments about what he was saying. And he was being very negative, being very critical. The fact that you have so many people turning on this show now, that it's become almost a joke. The memes coming from it are hilarious. The fact that a show that has been so good for so long is now going to be destroyed, essentially, in 1 season by 6 episodes, all because of these 2 idiots right here who are going to head somehow their own Star Wars trilogy. Good luck. And you know what? If I were Kathleen Kennedy or anyone running Disney right now, I'd say, you know what? You were doing good, and now we realize that it was only because you had George R.R. Martin and other people guiding you. And without that guidance, you took a great franchise, a great series, and crapped all over it. Seriously, if you let these guys get their hands on Knights of the Old Republic and let them do the same thing here, good luck. Guys, what are y'all's thoughts? Do y'all think that this show is good anymore? Do you think that there's anything left to salvage? Are you excited for the final episode? To be honest, I'm almost looking forward to it just because I want to see what stupid thing are they going to do next. And I want to be like, okay, so we have all of these theories and we really care because guess what? Again, it's been years. We care about what happens to the characters. We love these characters. I still love these characters. I still love the actors that play these characters. But now it's gotten to the point now where it's almost like, okay, so all the things that I could possibly think could happen aren't going to happen. And instead, what's going to happen is something that's going to subvert and not make any sense, and it's going to be stupid as hell. And I'm almost excited for that because I really just want to see how many more people, because there are still a few stragglers out there trying to say, oh, it's still a great show and you don't know what you're talking about. And unfortunately, most of them, especially in the media, again, the people in the media specifically, they're mostly shills. They're mostly people who like their access, want to be able to interview the stars and all these other things. And I think that Jeremy John said it best, and this is a dude that's being sent, is actually getting to go to the premiere of the season finale. He said it best where he said, yeah, this isn't good anymore. And I'm just not going to say it any other way. That's a dude who knows what he's talking about. That's a real guy who's going to go ahead and tell you how it is. That's how I always try and do it. I always try and tell you guys how it is. I never want to shill. I never want to just make crap up. The series has gone really bad. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Guys, if you like this video, smash the like button. You know that there are going to be people out there, the defenders, the apologists out there who want to just ignore all the objective reality, all the objective faults, and just say, oh, it's still good. Again, you can subjectively like something, but if you cannot be privy to your own truth. There is only one truth. There's only one objective reality, and objectively, this series is toast. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.